Greetings, Banff Warriors. Greetings. Greg is here. We're going to get on here and talk some shit. Get on here. We're going to burn a little stuff right now. This is some special bark from probably the oldest tree on my property. It's the king of the forest. It's the king of the forest. It probably is actually one of the oldest trees around here. I haven't seen too many others that are as big as the one right here on my property. How's everybody doing tonight? Hope you're enjoying the depending on when you're watching this, there's a lot of full moon energy even after you're watching it. This full moon's a powerful one in Scorpio. It's gonna be lasting there for a few days for sure. Anybody already feeling the effects of that? Beautiful day of life. It's always a great opportunity to share a message with all you incredible souls. See if anything resonates with you. See what comes through. Channeled messages about life, about being your best self, healing. We talk a lot about healing here. Healing. Anybody doing any healing right now? A lot of people, when you think about healing, you think about maybe a cut or the physical. But what about the emotional, man? The emotional healing. It seems to be the scariest, huh? It's the scariest. I think most of y'all don't want nothing to do with emotional healing. And yet, if you ask me, hello, Christian, hello. If you ask me, which you may or may not be asking me, but I'm going to share my opinion because it's my channel. The emotional healing is the one that, if ignored, no matter what else you do, you're going to still be hurting. You're going to still be hurting. If you miss out on the emotional healing, you're probably going to be still lacking some inner peace, lacking some self-control. You'll probably be lacking some self-confidence. I'm doing wonderful. Greatest gift is life. The second greatest is connection. So first and foremost, it's beautiful to celebrate life. The beauty of life. It's all around. Us humans, we're not the only life. Even though we like to think of ourselves that way, we think that, we're the apex, we're at the top of the food chain. But there's life in everything. Everything is filled with life. When you awaken to realize that the trees have life, plants have life, even the rocks have life. Clearly, all the animals have life. The sky is filled with life. Thunder, the stars, the moon, the sun. Where point me to an area where there is no life. And it's interesting how limited we are in what we can even see or perceive with these human eyes. So, to really pick up on all the life force, the energy that exists in this world, you have to start tapping into the energy. Yeah, if you're only looking at life through your eyes, limited. It's very, very limited. And I was thinking today, I went for a walk, watching the full moon. Thank you. I was watching the full moon. Look at all these. I was watching the full moon come up, going for a walk. And I recently talked about the butterfly effect. How many of you know what the butterfly effect is? Thank you for all that love. It's an interesting thing, right? The butterfly effect. Anybody? Any of you ever experienced the butterfly effect? It's also called the chaos theory. And it's typically when something shifts. I'll give you a wild example, but it's legit. Is if you ever have heard of a story of somebody that like misses a plane, and the next thing you know, that plane crashes, and it's like, whoa, they got spared, right? But maybe in the moment they were super frustrated and upset because man, they missed the plane because they had a plan, right? Have you ever had a plan? Maybe it could even have been today. Something you had focus on, and you said, "Hey, I need it to go this way," and then something else happens. That's that's actually the butterfly effect. It's when there's a little wrinkle in your plan, and yet a lot of people you can get really pissed off about that, right? Because you lack control over your time. I would say that's a huge one, right? How many of you actually think you're the masters of your time? How many of you are just so stressed out because you feel like you never got enough time? You're always running late to this and that and always bing, 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 bing. Ooh, there's a lot you could do. A lot more than you think you could do when it comes to being the master of your time. But that's where most people, when things don't go as planned, if you're someone that melts down or gets really frustrated out, you never stress out, you pray. If that eases the stress, man, that's great. That's great. But are you the master of your time? That's what's more important. Is when things don't go your way, don't go as planned. Do you see, or how many of you see that with spiritual eyes? That there's actually a potential that there's a divine intervention happening on your behalf. That if it was to be your way, right? If it was exactly supposed to happen the exact way that you want it to happen, and then it don't, right? How many of you would be like pissed off? Or how many of you realize that, you know what? Hey, everything happens for a reason. Yeah, 26 years. Good job, man. I'm glad you had God getting you through all that. And yet, divine intervention, plans not going as planned. Or sometimes you actually take a small action that shifts things. They call it the chaos theory, right? So it's the butterfly effect. And it's I'll read for you the generic definition. The butterfly effect is a concept from chaos theory that describes how a small initial change in a system can lead to large unforeseen consequences over time. It often illustrated with the metaphor of a butterfly flapping its wings. And yet, I'll tell you something. I'll tell you a story. I'll tell you a story. A lot of people admire the nature that's all around here. And I feel very blessed. I feel very, very fortunate that I have 21 acres of just, you know, incredible property within a national forest. It's sacred land. It's very private. You should see the stars at night. You should see the moon. It's so quiet, so peaceful. And yet I'll tell you how this came to be. Because see, most of you, if you haven't yet achieved things that you desire, especially financial things, things that cost money, it can be a little stressful, right? You could be a little envious. You can start telling yourself things like, you're not good enough, or, you're just not lucky. It never goes your way. Sometimes you gotta follow, you gotta see with spiritual eyes. And I'll tell you a sequence of events that is absolutely my version of a butterfly effect. So in the summer of 2021, the summer of 2021, I had just finished my second year teaching. I had left a role in higher education, building out a veteran resource center, and I wanted to go make an impact. So in 2019, I decided to go get into the classroom, fourth and fifth grade students. And it was chaos. But if you all remember 2019, we weren't having a 2019, it felt like life was kind of still normal. And it was the end of 2019, like in September. So by the time March rolled through of, you guessed it, 2020, everything shifted, didn't it? As a teacher, we were supposed to be going on our spring break, and instead they said, "Hey, you're going to take 2 weeks off, and then we'll be back." 2 weeks. 2 weeks off for this thing to clear. And we said, "Okay, hey, no problem, man. Extra week of spring break." Yeah, no problem. Nah, we didn't go back for a year and a month. It was a year and a month that we went back. And we went back April of 2021 in class as an elementary teacher. I was the only teacher probably in the whole state of New Mexico that had my whole entire class in class. I had called every parent and said, "Look, I'm a parent. I know your concerns, but our children need their butts to be in the classroom." And so everybody sent their kids, when some were like, it was optional. And so, but something that happened during that time. So the pandemic happens, and then we're coming out of the pandemic, April 6th of 2021. That's when we were mandated, everybody, all the kids we need to get back into the classroom. Well, what had happened to me during that time frame is I did a lot of soul searching during the pandemic. I saw the writing on the wall, and I made some drastic changes to my life. I didn't have meltdowns ever. It was actually probably one of the most memorable times of my life, because I had space. I had space to work on myself. I did a lot of work on myself during the pandemic. I did a lot of adventure travel, right? My truck's a cabin on wheels. So when they would say quarantine, I'd be like, "Well, I'm in my truck." And so I really did transform. I switched up my nutrition. I started working out again. I started making some drastic changes. Like, I saw the writing on the wall. Things weren't looking good. And I had just come out of the divorce. And then this happened. And it was like a wake up call, like a double wake up call, to be like, wait, something ain't right here. I need to get my shit back together. That actually, and so I think that there was like two ways that you handled it, right? That great shutdown, right? I think a lot of people shut down mentally, emotionally, having meltdowns, breakdowns, because you didn't have access to all the things. And it was really rough. And then there was a large population, myself, that I went and thrived, man. I went and like lived my best life. It was incredible. It was like, I took my kids on like extended like trips all over the country. I mean, driving, it was great. It was a wonderful time. But yet there was a lot of you that melted down because you need all the stimuli, right? All this stuff. And so, and I think we're even back to some of that right now. It's kind of sad. I think that, it's kind of funny that because so many people melted down, had mental breakdowns, because you didn't have access to all your stuff, which is really just distractions. I think we're back to it. Here comes it's like another round of it, just not so Who knows? Who knows what the future holds? I just know that there's still a lot of people that are still so attached to their things that if you get your things taken away, trouble. Don't take away their things. But so here's what happens in 2021 in the summer. Obviously, I had the whole summer break off because I was teaching. I was sitting back. This is a story about the butterfly effect. I'm about to tell you how did I land in this property, right? 21 acres, national forest, right? Incredible. Because see, a lot of you think, oh, well, you have excuses, right? That's the problem here. That's why it's called results kill excuses, not excuses kill results. But that's what happens. Your excuses will kill your results. But I want to show you how the butterfly effect worked for me to land this property. Some of you would call it manifesting. Some of you would just call it luck. I call it following my intuition. And so in the summer of 2021, I knew I was going to leave teaching. I couldn't keep doing that. I had lost my heart, I had lost my zeal for it. I didn't fit in that box, but I gave it a try. And so I was transitioning out of the teaching and kind of enjoying the summer. And I remember I had just come back from a vacation. I was doing a lot of those. And it was a Friday afternoon, or it was a Friday morning. And I was like scrolling through social media, and an older friend of mine had put up a post asking for some help. Anybody ever seen that? Anybody ever seen one of their friends that maybe they're not like your closest friend, but they're in your friend groups? And yet people will ask for help on social media. People will also complain about other people instead of just moving on. People will be like, why is this guy doing his thing his way? He should do it my way. Hilarious. So I'm scrolling and I see someone asking for help. And I didn't have anything planned that day. And what this person was asking for was if anybody had a trailer, if they could help pick up like a load of like rocks for like some landscaping. And I think everyone here has seen somebody that they know asking for some help. Well, I was there and I said, I have a trailer. I don't really have anything going on right now, but I don't know if I want to help this guy just out of nowhere. And so I started thinking about it and I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to help him out. Chances are someone else already did it, but I'm going to reach out. And so I did. I reached out to the guy. I said, hey, bro, I got a trailer. I could come help you. He's like, really? He's all, dude, I've been asking people all day. And he's like, man, that would be such a huge deal for me. And so he gave me the address of a business to go pick up these rocks from. So I jumped in my truck, loaded up my trailer, went to this business. They loaded the rocks in the truck. I drove to this location. It was all pretty close by. And met the guy and all of his crew, unloaded all the rocks, and he gave me $100. I said, oh, cool, man. You didn't have to do that. He's like, no, thank you, bro. You came through for me in the clutch, man. Like, my guys would have been sitting here all day. We're waiting for somebody to help us out. And I said, cool, no worries. Didn't think nothing of it. And the next week, the same guy calls me up. We're talking about the butterfly effect here. And how something really small. So you can't forget that I'm sitting there, scroll. Oh, look, someone needs a hand, right? Again, if you've listened to this channel for any amount of time, I talk about my 5 daily foundations for keeping my cup full. And if you know what is the last one, making a difference. I'll give you the rundown because there's a lot of new subscribers, new listeners here that actually are curious about making some drastic changes in their life, and not just hearing about making changes, but actually being shown how to make long lasting change. That's what I do here. I don't just talk about getting you motivated to go do something. I show you how to do it through my own example. But so every single day, the 5 daily foundations for me keeping my cup full energetically is I mind my mornings. I have a powerful morning routine. I eat my health. I move my body, exercise. This is daily, right? I learn something new and then I go and make a difference. So my 5th principle is making a difference, whether that's responding to some dude asking for a handout, like some help randomly, or doing a random act of kindness, like, or volunteering in a natural disaster, right? Making a difference in this world is a part of it's a part of who I am, and it helps me to keep my cup overflowing, right? So I'm not running on exhaustion. A lot of y'all are running on exhaustion, and then you ask yourself, why? Do you have a morning routine, positive affirmations, right? And there's a video on the channel. It's there. I actually need to continue that, kind of the Gregisms of daily living, right? So it's like I mind my mornings. That means positive affirmations, journaling, breath work, grounding, sun gazing, cold showers. I just have a routine regardless of what time in the morning. I have a routine that I stick to every single day that sets me up for success. But that's not the end of the day. The next thing is nutrition. Nutrition comes before exercise. I had to learn that the hard way, putting on all kinds of extra weight, feeling like shit, feeling like I was going to be unalived in my sleep with a CPAP and all kinds of health problems starting to come up. So I switched my nutrition in 2020, and that changed my fucking life. It changed my life, right? Minding my mornings, eating my health, moving my body, right? Regular activity. And yes, you should go to the gym and lift some weights. You absolutely should, because one of the number one things that immobilizes people is the loss of muscle mass on your body. And that's why so many people, they get you hear about it time and time again, the broken hip, and next thing you know, they're gone. They can't recover. There's no muscle. There's no strength. So I move my body, right? I learn something new every day. That means that I am a card-carrying member of the Lifetime Learners Club. Is there anybody else out there that's a part of Lifetime Learners? That means I don't show up anywhere and say I know it all. That means any situation, any group, any environment, any person, I can learn something from. I don't care if they're 5 years old or 55 years old or 99 years old, right? I can learn something. I spent a big part of my day today with teenagers, and I learned stuff from them. But if you're somebody that thinks you know it all, carry on. So that's number 4. Number 5 is I lend a hand. I make a difference in this world, because it's not just all about me. I believe we're all connected. I believe that there's oneness, right, in this existence. And the more that we can help people, the better this world becomes. But when all we're trying to do is look after ourselves, well, maybe the current times can be a big reflection of that for a lot of you. For me, I don't see it that way. I see that stuff, but it's not what catches my attention. I'm caught up on the generosity, the kindness, right? The beauty of life right now. I'm not focused on the chaos. So again, seeing a post random on a Friday morning, 2021 in the summer, from a guy I knew that just said, "Hey man, does anybody got a trailer?" And I'm like, I got a trailer and I got time. And I go and help the guy, right? I don't even think it was 2 hours out of my time. Gave me $100. I said, "Thanks, bro." The next week, this guy calls me up We're talking about the butterfly theory, how doing one thing led to something great. It did have some hardships along the way, though, and that's okay. That's life. I still got a smile on my face. I still have peace in my heart. The next week, the guy calls me up and he says, "Hey, bud, are you doing anything today?" And I was like, well, I kind of wanted to say, "Yeah, dude, I got all kinds of stuff going on. Why? What's up?" And he's like, "Well, do you want to make some more money?" And I was like, "Yeah, possibly." And he's like, "Well, we need a bunch of stuff hauled out of this job site, and they'll pay you good money for it. You name your price." And I was like, "Really?" Because this northern New Mexico, it's like it can be a little rural in spots. He's like, "Name your price, man. They'll pay it." And there's probably about 10 loads that need to go out. And I said, "Well, how about $300 for a load on my trailer?" And he's like, "Done." And I said, "Really? Okay, man. Yeah, I'll be right there." So me and my son loaded up. We went to this property and we just started hauling out all these debris, right? And this was a little bit of a drive. It was like an hour drive. And then, we loaded up stuff and then we had to go to the dump, and the dump was like another 30 minutes. And, we just spent, I think it was like 3 days doing loads. And yeah, I got paid it's like $3,000, right, at the end of the day. And then I got a whole bunch of other stuff. I got like brand new beds, like really nice beds, all kinds of other stuff. There was some really cool stuff that came out of that. But there was much more. There was a connection that happened. So the people that my friend was working for, I met them, and they were a couple out of Texas, and we created kind of a bit of a friendship. And the property that I was at, they were turning into a wedding venue. Well, they hit me up and said, "Hey, we appreciate all you've done with hauling the trash, but we're gonna do a wedding venue, and we need like security. You seem like you're a pretty big guy. Like, we also just need someone to keep an eye on the property during the weddings." They're like, "Could we hire you to do that?" And I was like, "Well, yeah, probably." And he's like, "Well, it's $85 an hour." I was like, "Yeah, no problem, man. I'll handle that." And so I started doing security at these wedding events. Easy, just kicking back, keeping an eye on the place. And did that for about another 6 months. And then we're about the first of the year in 2022. And I get a call just totally out of the blue. I hadn't talked to these guys, the couple, in a while. And they said they had just purchased a motel that they wanted to renovate. And they were looking for a general manager to oversee the motel. And they thought that I would be the right guy for the job. They said, "Well, let's sit down and talk about the details." And so we did. We met for lunch. And we talked about the details. And I told them, "All right, here's my number. It's a big number, is what it was going to cost me." And it came with a lot. I sacrificed a lot to take on that project. I actually needed to move on property because I was not only the general manager, but also kind of like the project manager on site we didn't even close down the motel while we were under construction. We literally just like blocked off 4 rooms at a time. Bang, 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 right after like checkout, before check-in, bang, 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 bang. And then everything settled down at night when people would check in. And then again in the morning, bang, 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 when everybody checked out. Because it's a motel. People don't really hang out there in the daytime. So we were able to pull it off. It was one of the most challenging experiences I had. But how that played out into the butterfly effect was that income on top of other sources of income put me in a position at the right place at the right time that I had the buying power to purchase the property I'm in right now. And if you think about it, prior to that, I was teaching, and teaching does not pay well. But I was teaching because it was a heart project for me. I was working in the college helping out veterans because it was a heart project. It wasn't about money, right? I do work now for the University of New Mexico. It's a heart project, right? I like connecting with people, especially the youth or people that are, learners, which we all should be. And yet, see, a lot of you overlook those little opportunities because you're so consumed with everything you're overwhelmed by. But you think about it, a 6-figure job came about from from me offering to help a guy with a trailer on a Friday afternoon when I didn't have nothing else going on. Like that's the butterfly effect, like to the T. Now that relationship did end, and it didn't end really well. It became very strained between myself and the couple. But even my daughter worked there. That's what's cool is in the motel, my daughter got to work there. She works at like Four Seasons now. She started at the motel and now she works at the Four Seasons. So she's like really channeled into hospitality big time. My property here, right? I just hit 100 5-star reviews, Airbnb. Right. That's not small stuff. And I'm not like 4.9 or 4.8. I mean, we're talking 5-star, 5 stars. And again, it was through that learning experience. Right. Receipts, 100 5-star reviews, 102 5-star reviews, actually. But where did that start from? That started for me sitting back during the summer, seeing a post on social media for someone asking for some help. And I wasn't expecting anything from that. And yet I reached out and said, hey, bro, I got everything you're looking for. I got a trailer, I got time on my hands, and I can help you. And that $100 turned into $100,000 more than $100,000. I mean, it's probably that one offer, that one thing for me to say, you know what, I'll help this guy. That one thing that started at $100. If I was to add up everything that the ranch has made me, on top of the income I made for that, plus how my daughter's even benefited, I mean, we're probably at like $500,000 right now. And that was in 2022. But yet, y'all think that, wait, well, I'm just not lucky, or things just don't ever go my way. And it's just like, wait, when are you going to take action? Because I say this all the time. I'm not here for entertainment purposes. I don't just get on here. That's the old influencer 1.0. Influencer 1.0s that you are so programmed to just consume. All they do is talk. And I went to something recently that was like a conference, and I asked a lot of people, what'd you think about it? And a lot of people felt like, I don't feel like I got something from it. I feel like what I heard is stuff I've already heard, but it didn't get people to the finish line. And that's something that I'm not here to just entertain you. Right? We're doing the Breath of Life Healing Circle Sundays. If you haven't checked that out, you are missing out. You are missing out if you're sitting there and you're frustrated and you're sad and you're upset and you're feeling overwhelmed. And yet you're looking, you're in a little bit of a search, and you're right. People do wait. I was that way, man. When I hit my rock bottom 13 years ago, I had to hit rock bottom to fucking get sober and start asking for some help. But the thing is, 13 years ago, there wasn't guys or gals like me out here on a regular, not just talking about things, showing me the way. Because that's why I'm on here, is to show the previous version of me, which is most likely you and you and you and you and all of you that are watching this right now. There is aspects of you that is the previous version of who I used to be. A man that was full of excuses. Where do you think the slogan came from? I was excuses were killing all the results. And I had to flip that upside down. And it came out of me hitting my rock bottom, right? Wearing the shirt today. Get up, dust off, keep going, man. No quit. But I made an absolute decision. I was going to figure this out. Now, here's the problem with that. There's a lot of you that are trying to figure it out. And yet it took me 13 years to figure it out. Why do you want to put yourself through 13 years of trying to figure it out when I am here to serve you, to help you, to assist you, to guide you, to lead you? I can't heal you. I can't make you do the work, but I can show you what work needs to be done. That's the difference. A lot of people just talk. Come on, man, get motivated. Go to the gym. Go start a business. Get the bag. And it's like, that shit that's one dimensional. That's not going to do it. It's not going to do it. It's not going to do it. Starting a business because you want to make money, it's not going to be successful. And even if it is, you're going to be miserable. You heard that, right? You're going to be miserable because, see, you're wanting something which is resources, and you think that an activity that you're going to tie yourself to that activity, and you're going to have some bad days. And when you have really bad days, it ain't going to matter how much money you're making. You're going to feel like shit and you're not going to want to do it because it's not coming from here. It was coming from here and from really the pockets. It was just like, okay, how are people making money? Let me go do that too. That's what, I mean, you see it all day long. You see it just even on content, right? That's why so many people get triggered by this type of message, because this is a bright fucking light of authenticity and truth getting shined in your eyes. I'm not trying to fucking, right? I'm not trying to sugarcoat none of this. I'm shining the light on you in all those areas that you're real sensitive about, because that's what it's going to take for you to be successful, truly successful, right? It's going to be healing the emotional piece, right? I've made lots of money. I've lost lots of money, right? At the end of the day, the thing that is the difference is being broken emotionally, not broken financially. Emotionally bankrupt is the worst. You cannot get any worse than that, than being emotionally bankrupt. And most of you are that. You get the little highs, you know it, you chase after the little endorphin rushes. Maybe it's, oh, I got in a good workout. If you're a workout person, but you're not an emotional healing person, you'll feel really good after the gym. But then you got to go live with yourself. You have to sleep with yourself. Maybe even have to sleep with someone else that you absolutely don't like. And maybe you have to go work for somebody else that you absolutely hate. But you have the gym, so that makes you feel good. Or if you have somebody that has a business, you have your business, you have your money, but you have no freedom. You've lost your freedom, right? And even the freedom you do have, you're so exhausted that you don't even have quality of life to really be nurturing and have good connections with the people that are around you. You hear it all the time from children of affluent parents. The one thing they wish they could have had more than anything else would have been more time with the parent, but the parent was always so busy doing whatever, trying to be the provider. But they actually missed the whole point. Are you there? Are you missing the whole point of this? The whole point is balance. And you'll find balance if you follow your heart, not just your head, not just your wallet. Because in this instant, it was sitting there. That's great. That sounds like you got your shit together, hopefully. Have you done the emotional healing? Chicken nuggets, with 2 homes and a business. A random act of kindness, right, led to like $500,000 worth of income for me, of opportunities. Right? I didn't have to go apply for a job. I didn't have to do any of that. All I did was one random act of kindness, and the butterfly effect took over. Why do you think I tell you guys this? Go do the random acts of kindness. You never know. You never know the ripples. You never know. But yet, if you're so focused on just yourself and your own suffering, and it's just like when I tell you guys about if someone was to come and ask you for money, right? There's a lot of you that, oh, I don't give it because they're gonna go use drugs. Who cares what they do? That's not your call. If someone asks you, you should give. You should always give. You don't have to have an explanation. And a lot of times, even if I don't give the money, I say, well, what are you going to use it for? Well, I'm hungry. And I say, okay, well, let's go right there to that restaurant and you can order anything you want, man. It's like $80 later. They're like, are you sure? I'm like, yeah, man, get whatever you want, bro. I'll get you whatever you want. But sometimes people do come up to me and I'll ask them, are you on drugs? And they're like, yeah. And I say, okay. And I'll just talk to them. How long you been on the streets? Just really get to the human. How long have you been on the streets? Like, have you thought about getting out of the streets? Because I know people that have turned their shit around and gotten out the streets. I know somebody that works at my favorite place to go, this incredible hot springs resort. She's one of the managers there. And man, she was hooked. She was hooked on some really bad shit. And she turned her life around. Her addiction was her addiction, and yet she found making money and being a responsible person and being rewarded for it, compensated for her hustle, and she fell in love with that. But you can never outgive. But yet so many of us, we live in poverty mindset, and then we wonder why we're not getting ahead. We wonder why we're still struggling. But yet if someone was to come and ask you, right, a total stranger, hey man, can you spare any change? And it's like, you got some pennies, you have $1, and you have a 50. What are you gonna give? What's your heart say? Right? What are you gonna give? You gonna give the pennies? You gonna be like, here's the pennies, man. Here's the pennies. How many of you would take on the challenge to see what happens, butterfly effect, if you gave the 50? I believe you get it minimum 10x. Minimum, it comes back 10x. You can never outgive those in need. You cannot outgive. Anything you give, but see, that's the thing. If you have the pennies, you have the dollar, because see, what you give is what you receive. Hello. This is called exchange. This is exchange. Most of you haven't learned this yet. I know you haven't learned this because you're still living in scarcity. Your hands are closed. Your fists are closed. You're afraid. And even when you consume, right, they call it's called consuming content. A lot of you consume a lot of content, right? Which is just taking. You're just taking. You're taking information, and then what are you doing with it? Right? My program here, it's like, great. Yeah, I don't mind. I'm going to keep talking and walking the motherfucking walk. But I sure would love if more of you would start walking it with me. That would be very inspiring. As I see 888 right here, that's abundance. That's how I know I'm in alignment. That's how I know that's how I know the medicine is flowing right now. So thank you for being here. Thank you for giving yourself permission to just lock in and hear some hard truths, because it's uncomfortable. Right? What you give, you receive. So again, if someone asks you for, hey man, you got anything you can spare? You got $1, you got a 10, and you got 100. What do you give? Most of you are going to give $1, if anything. If anything. And I would challenge you to at least get to the level where you can throw the 10 out there, or even a motherfucking $100 bill. It's a powerful thing. It's a powerful thing to see what happens. Right? Because then guess what? You're now walking in faith, not by sight, not by your own worries. Right? You just sent something into the divine, into the universe to say, oh wow, you can hand out $100 bills to strangers? You must be doing good. We're going to make, you got that kind of heart? You got the kind of heart, you're handing out $100 bills to strangers? Here you go. Here you go. You know, you get all these people talk about manifesting, and it's like there's never generosity. It's like, hey, say these 3 things and sleep on, write this on your pillow and sleep under it and all this other bullshit. When it's as simple as what you give, you receive. If you give sparingly with scarcity, right? You ever think about it in terms of, and that's funny because I guarantee you there's a lot of faithful people, probably even Christians, right? Christianity, Catholics, all y'all, religious people. I guarantee you this message probably challenging you too. It's challenging you, right? Because you say you have faith, but see, a lot of you have even just kind of are doing the minimum. What's the minimum? Oh, Jesus is my Lord and Savior. That's the minimum. Maybe church a couple times a month. That's the minimum. You should give it all. And so even in the Bible, it talks about in terms of scattering seeds. If you scatter seeds, if you were a farmer and you had a big piece of land, right, and you wanted to grow a lot of stuff on your land, if you had a big thing of seeds, but you said, I don't know, I should keep the seeds because if I throw them out in the dirt, I don't know if they're going to grow or not. So I want to keep them in the silo. So I'm just going to put a few seeds out there. Well, then guess what you're going to get? Only a few plants. You reap what you sow. Hello? You reap what you sow. If you're sowing judgment towards others, guess what you're going to get? Judgment. If you are sowing hatred towards others, people you don't even know, but they're political figures or they're public figures, and you judge them, you dislike them, you hate them. I hate you. Guess what you're going to get? Hate. You reap what you sow. And some of you are good bullshitters. You could put on the mask, you could bullshit, but your heart is really the barometer of where you're at. And that's why these tests, especially if you're someone that struggles financially, it's always in your heart. It's always in your heart. If someone asks you, hey, you got something? Hey, man, can you spare anything? And you're like, well, I got 100 and I got some loose change. I'm going to give you that. I'm not even going to give you all the loose change. I'm going to just give you a little bit. Or I'm going to say, I ain't got nothing, man. Well, guess what you get? And if you think that I'm wrong, prove it. Prove it to yourself by being generous and see how you start to manifest stuff. Because I literally just said, I went from giving somebody my time on a random day because I saw a post on social media that said, hey, man, anybody got a trailer to help me out for an hour? And I had a trailer and I knew I had an hour, but there was a part of me that was like, come on, man, like you don't need to be doing that. Someone else can do it. Someone else can do it, bro. You don't need to do it. You're just chilling today. Why do you need to go do that? But there was a voice inside of my head too that said, go help that guy. Go help him. And so I sat there and I was like, all right, I'm going to ask. If he says he needs the help, I'll go help him. And so I did. And that alone turned into $500,000 worth of revenue and a beautiful property, right? One of the most beautiful. If you guys ever see the videos here, just know that this started by me giving of my time and getting $100, right? That's what led here. Play back the tape. But some of you are sitting there saying, oh, you got to do this and you're going to just work hard and get another job and 2 jobs and 3 jobs when all you got to be is fucking more generous in your heart of hearts. Just be a more generous person, right? Another big challenge that I love to put on people is if you like going out and eating at restaurants and stuffing your face, right? Here's another chance for you to be generous. Tip the total of the bill. Not 10%, not 20%. Tip 100%. So if the bill comes out to $150, tip $150. Guess what that sends out to the universe? Guess what that sends out to God? Wow. Oh, wow. This person's tipping a double $150. Wow. And you're doing it with a joyful heart, and like you're excited to be able to, like, I mean, it's the most beautiful thing when you do random acts of kindness. People light up. They're like so shell shocked because most people out there are so closed off and selfish and just focused on all your worries and overwhelmed by all your shit, that when you actually go and do it, like, it is like the most joyful thing ever. I love it. I love when I'm in the store and I look behind me and there's someone there and I tell the lady, hey, like, scan in all their shit. Like, I do it all secret. Hey, scan in all their shit. And then the person standing there, like, not maybe paying attention, but they're loading their stuff still. And then they're like, wait, is she scanning my stuff? It's kind of funny. And the lady's like, yeah, it's okay. It's okay. And they scan it. And I'm like, cool, got you. And they're like, what, really? You just bought my stuff? I'm like, yeah, high five. Have a great day. There's what feels better than that? Some of you would rather be the person having your stuff bought for because all you want is free shit. Versus, what would you rather be? The person that's able to bless people and like just be so generous? Or do you want to be the person that's just like wandering around wishing someone sees you and gives you a handout? Which one do you want to be? You need to tell the universe, or wait, oops, you already are. You already are. And it's not even what you say. It's not even what you wear. Maybe you like to get all dressed up, all the name brand. You buy shit for yourself. But when it comes to like lending a hand, volunteering, donating your time, most precious resource, most of y'all have never done that. I guarantee you, most of y'all listening have never done that. I've done countless hours, disaster zones, countless hours, soup kitchens, right? I built a nationally award-winning Veterans Resource Center, right? By going out and volunteering in my community. That we literally received national recognition, won national awards, Military Times Best. And so that's always been a way that I do things. Which then what? That's what's setting me apart from other people. I'm not just here for the talk. I'm here to inspire you to take actions. This is how we make the world a better place. You will never make the world a better place by sitting around and complaining. Complaining is not going to do it, right? If all you want to do is sit there and complain, right? Bitch and complain to all your friends, all the people, right? To the internet. Like, if that's what you think is making a difference, that's not making a difference. No one's even hearing that. No one gives two shits about your complaints, about how dissatisfied you are with the service you got at a restaurant. It's like, man, everybody's going through some shit, to get some bad service, right? Have some grace. How about be a little bit merciful towards people? Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to be able to. I haven't really looked these up in a while. Some of these articles. I was trying to look up some articles. But yeah, Military Times, right? National recognition for doing what? Inspiring veterans and dependents to go out in the community and pick up trash, to go out in the community and volunteer at the homeless shelter, right? To just start like giving back, doing service projects, right? I love volunteering at natural disasters too, right? It's powerful stuff. It's really powerful stuff. And when you're feeling stuck and you're feeling like your life isn't going anywhere, you really need to have some honest conversation with yourself and really do some deep diving as to how are you showing up in this world? What is really in your heart? Are you closed off? Are you cynical? Are you upset, frustrated, feeling bitter and broke and never, just kind of walking around with a lot of envy and anger and jealousy and rage? Why do they have it? Why do they get to have that kind of car or that kind of house or that kind of thing? And it's like, what are you doing? This is the most beautiful thing about this human experience. That is why journaling is the most powerful thing you could implement, is because you are the author of your life. And if you are trying to do all of life in your head, you're overwhelmed right now. I don't want to insult you or like put you down or anything. It's just that's an overwhelming place to be. Because life is challenging no matter where you're at. No matter where you're at in life, there's things flying at you from every different direction. And the way we all get into our heads. We live in this thing. Mama Sushi. We live in it. That is why you need to start creating a journaling routine. It's so important. Journaling is like, it's non-negotiable. If you're listening to this content and you haven't started to drink the Kool-Aid, I don't care if you buy a 1% Better Everyday journal or not, which I would if I was you. If I was not a journaler, I created the 1% Better Everyday journal to help people that do not journal. It's like the training wheels of learning how to journal, and to do it with it's built exactly the way you need it to be built, where you start with positive affirmations every day. You start with learning how to reflect on the good things you're doing and things you can start improving about yourself. So you start to have a level of self accountability. And then you start doing some goal setting, real low bar goal setting every day, positive affirmations. And built into there is a whole master training class that guides you with over 40 videos. It's probably like 7 or 8 hours over 90 days of me teaching you what it is to go from self-sabotage to self-mastery in a journal. It's like, it's a no-brainer, but a lot of y'all are just still sitting there saying, I don't know. I'm just watching. I don't even know what he's talking about. Okay. Okay, fair enough. You don't need to know what I'm talking about. Thank you for watching though. I would much rather have you pulling the trigger, getting yourself a 1% Better Everyday journal, right? It should be non-negotiable that you're journaling. It should be non-negotiable that when you wake up, the first thing you do isn't just start scrolling, isn't checking all your emails and shit. Try and swerve on that. Get on to whatever it is, YouTube, and literally listen to some positive affirmations. This is one of my favorite ones. Abraham Hicks, Morning Rampage.
It's a good morning. This is a good morning. This is a really good morning.
I start almost every day with that. It's a good morning. It's a really good morning. It's a wonderful morning. It's a great morning. Every day. Why? Because this world is not that. And if you think that you're going to just, like, if you like to just have your ass kicked every single day, up and down the block every week, every month, every year, and you just want to just continue playing that victim as if you're so helpless, you need, like, here's the other one. Oh, wow, I'm happy every morning. I'm happy. I'm optimistic.
Everything is bright and good.
Everything is bright and good. Wow, that's so hard to hear for some of you, huh?
Everything is going my way.
Everything's going my way.
Life is good.
Life is good. Yes, it is.
It's easy going.
Life is easy going. See, I mean, again, I've been talking about this. When are you going to start? When are you going to start? Positive affirmations. It's all there in the 1% Better Everyday Journal. There's a little checklist for morning routine. Positive affirmations, journaling, breath work, sun gazing, maybe some earthing, maybe a cold shower, maybe some yoga, whatever you need. But to have something, and at least positive affirmations should be number one, journaling should be number two. I believe some breath work is probably number three. If you could only do three things, those three things would be the most powerful things to set you up for greater success in life, because it's going to shift your mentality from negative and victim to positive and victorious. You're going to feel empowered. You're going to feel like, you know what? Things don't have to be going good, but I'm going to kick ass today. I'm going to make today a great day. I have power over my day. I have power over my time. I have power over my thoughts. Not control, power. Meaning you're going to go to battle with the negativity. But some of y'all just want to still sit there and act helpless and hopeless. And it's like, I'm not here to just talk, right? And if you're somebody that's looking for an incredible thing, not just the 1% Better Everyday Journal, but the Breath of Life Healing Circle. That's where you have an opportunity to join other people that haven't figured it out yet, right? You're not alone. That's the beautiful thing about this world, is if you're frustrated, overwhelmed, and like wishing that things could change, but you're willing to do some work, you're willing to actually try some things, but you're a little skeptical of what works, what doesn't work. Well, you wouldn't be alone if you joined the Breath of Life Healing Circle. Go to resultskillexcuses.com. There's a link there, right? Go to the link, sign up. We meet again this Sunday. Sign up. What is it? What is the Breath of Life? That sounds kind of wild. I don't know what a Breath of Life Healing Circle. What is that? It's literally, it's been a group of us, myself and others, meeting. We have we just have some time to connect. Then we do some reflection, right? I put up some questions this week. It was obviously, we were celebrating Mother's Day on Sunday. So we talked about what is our relationship with our moms? How does our relationship with our moms impact our relationship with ourselves, right? What are some things we want to release? So we're just having some reflection, right? So I'm kind of guiding people with some personal journaling and reflection, and we're sharing as a group and being vulnerable. And there's a lot of vulnerability. It's very beautiful. There's no judgment. It's not this, right? Because right here, who knows what somebody's gonna say. But the reason why the breath of life is so much different is because it's a sacred container and you can feel it. It's safe. That's why you all don't get to see the videos, but they're available if you're a part of that group. And yet there's no judgments. It's a safe container. It's sacred. And yet there's a lot of vulnerabilities. People have been very open. And that's when healing happens, is when you feel safe enough to be vulnerable. And a lot of times we're in relationships and stuff, and it's like we're vulnerable and it gets used against us. It's terrible. That's not this. This is a safe container for you to be your most authentic self, for you to share your darkest things if you feel compelled to do it, or just even share maybe the struggles you're going through currently and feel supported by that and not judged. So we get some of that. We had some powerful visualization every week. The visualization, you get messages. The visualization is what helps you to start to repair and reconnect your relationship with your inner child, with your higher self, and even with some other, spirit guides. and you literally get messages. So you need to have a journal and a notebook so you can write this stuff down and reflect on it. Like, whoa, that's wild. And then we do the breath. We literally sat there probably yesterday for like 30, 40 minutes, breathing. Powerful stuff. People are like, man, that was incredible. When you come out of breathing and people are like, man, that's incredible. It's something you should be checking out for sure. And all you got to do, go to resultskillexcuses.com, right? There's a lot of videos on there on this page from me introducing the breath work, what it's about, who's it for, right? You can sign up. And if you do, part of the sign up is you're going to get this special gift right here, right? I've been wearing it every day. 7 chakra positive energy bracelet. But better than that is you're going to start to become a part of a very powerful group that's not just here in the US, it's global. And I extend my invitation to you to join. If not, get yourself a 1% better everyday journal, or guess what? Maybe both, right? There's a husband and wife that are in there, and they're both just drinking the Kool-Aid, and it's like, man, you can see their connection, their relationship is really improving, like before my eyes. Like, it's incredible to see that when I always say, what you put in is what you get out. So if you come in half-ass, it's just like anything. You reap what you sow. If you're sowing in, oh well, here's a little bit of change, but you're sitting on a $10 bill. Give the $10 bill. Just see what happens. Do it in faith. Do it with joy, though. Don't do it like, oh, I'm not gonna get my snacks today. It's like, dude, just here you go. It feels good to give to somebody else. It lights them up, man. People are like, whoa, really? I remember this one time this kid gave me a ride. My truck had broken down and I fixed it and I needed a ride back to it. and it was a short drive. But the guy is like a janitor at one of the places I work. And I don't know, he's always really frustrated. I could tell he's always overwhelmed. And so it was so funny that we had a conversation the night before. This is another butterfly effect. We had a conversation the night before, and he was like really frustrated. Something about money. He was just like, we kind of have these little private talks after hours sometimes. And he was just kind of getting vulnerable with me. And I said, man, it sounds like you're going through some tough stuff, dude. Like, just trying to give him some encouragement. And then the next day, my truck broke down and I needed to fix it. So I did. I fixed it, and then I needed a ride. And I knew that when I went there, he was going to be the guy to give me a ride. And if he did, that I was going to give him $100. And I did. This kid drove me down to my truck and I said, here you go, bro. And he's like, what? He's like, dude, I can't accept this. He didn't want to accept it. I'm like, yeah, it's for you, bro. I knew it was for you. I wanted to give it to you yesterday, but for whatever reason, I kind of half-stepped. But I knew that you were going to be the one to give me a ride today. And because you did, here you go, bro. And he's like, man, I don't think you realize, dude, this is going to get me out of a bind right now. Like he just, and I love doing stuff like that. It's beautiful. And if you think that don't come back, you wonder why some people, you just have luck. You just, something, da-da-da-da. It's like, no, man, it's just, you either have a heart to be generous, to be compassionate, right? Same thing goes with waiters and wait staff. I always give the biggest tip or double the total. If the total is $100, I give $100 tip. That's, for some of you, that's crazy. Yeah, it is a little bit crazy to be extra generous, knowing that it always comes back 10 times. So if any of you are trying to figure out the hack, maybe it's just you need to be a little more generous, right? And a little less scarce, a little less poverty minded. But it takes reprogramming, because I used to have the poverty mindset. I grew up in a family where All I ever heard was fights about money, bills. Oh, constant, man, constant. I remember, and I was a little brat. I remember when I was a kid, we'd go to the store and I'd want something, right? That's just how it was. When we were little kids, I'd walk the aisles and I'd come to my mom would be at the checkout. And I'd be like, can I have this? And I knew she didn't have the money for it, man. And I mean, we're not at, like, we're talking a grocery store. So this thing couldn't have been more than like $5 or $3 or $2. And she was like, she would get so like overwhelmed, right? Because she would see it in my eyes, like I really wanted it. And she probably just didn't have the cash for that little extra thing. So I know what it is to be in it. Like, I've had to reprogram that, but money is a big one to reprogram, but so is so many other things. That is a part of this emotional healing piece. That's why lifting weights isn't going to heal it. That's why when you see people, they win the lottery, right? I think it's 60% of people that win the lottery land up even in a worse situation within, I think it's 5 years. And it's because just having a lot of money doesn't change your relationship with it. Money is an energy. I think there's even studies that say that if they were to disperse money with every single person having the exact same amount of money. Thank you, Hashatron. I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that compliment. As I just saw 111. 1111111. But there's been studies that they say if they were to distribute, right? A lot of people wish that, hey, all the billionaires, you should just give everyone $1 million. Like, if they were to distribute all the money across the world and everyone was to have the same equal amount, I think it's like within 6 months, all the money, the economic system would be right back to how it was. Because the people that only know how to spend money and not how to invest it and make money, you're going to spend all the money. And then the people that know how to make the money and invest the money, they're going to, it's like a magnet. You attract it back to you. So what you need to do is reprogram yourself. And that's a big part of the journaling, is to literally do these exercises. What do you believe about money? What do you believe about success? What do you believe about being generous? What do you really believe about this? Like, if you just think you are who you are literally a shell of yourself. You're hollow. You don't have substance to yourself because you're so, I'm not even sure what word to put in there, with people that are waywardy, right? It's like you're fair weather, right? It's like you go, you kind of, you do what you need to do in every single group to sort of have a level of acceptance, but you don't really stand for anything because you don't really understand yourself. Self-awareness is what this takes. Truly knowing who you are. And to know who you are, you need to know your beliefs. And most of you think you know your beliefs, but when you write out your beliefs, like I did, this was something I did along my healing journey, as I wrote out, what do I believe? What does love mean to me? What do I believe about success? What do I believe about failure? What do I believe about life? What do I believe about death? What do I believe about relationships? What do I believe about money? Right? And when I read these definitions, because I actually spent some time, again, because I had a clear mind, I was sober, so I was willing to like literally figure what I felt about myself and what I was believing. When I looked at a lot of these, I'm like, first off, these are, I don't even think these are are these really my definitions? Because it was the best I could come up with. And this is something you don't want to be throwing AI, chat GPT for to figure out what you believe. That's fucked. You need to really figure out what you believe. Because once you do have a definition, you don't have to be hard on yourself. As an adult, here's what you get to do. Are you ready for this? This is the game right here. As an adult, once you actually do this for real, meaning you actually write down a belief and you read it, if you don't like it, you don't have to be judgmental on yourself. And you don't even have to figure out where did that belief come from, even though it's helpful. Most of us, our beliefs aren't our own. They came from our parents and our family members and people that were always projecting their beliefs on us, and we absorb those beliefs, and then subconsciously we don't even realize that we're walking around with shit that isn't even ours. But here's the game. When you write something down, you don't have to judge your family member for them it's their fault that I've been having this belief. It's not about passing fault. It's about taking ownership and saying, wait, I wrote something down. I don't really like this belief. Guess what? You can change your belief. Oh, shit. Imagine that. You can change your beliefs. Has anybody ever told you that? Has anybody ever told you that you have permission to change any belief that you have? Ooh, that's so scary, huh? Isn't it like almost like your whole reality comes crashing down when the things you believe aren't your beliefs? And even if they are, maybe they're outdated. Maybe they're not serving you. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. 010101ZZ. Always spitting them gems, brother. Because it's just truth. And this is what's holding so many people back. You think you believe something and you really don't, because you haven't actually sat with it and written it down. If you can write it down, right? I mean, even this is kind of a little bit of sarcasm, right? But if you're somebody that's like a big political person, right? Write down why is politics so important to you, and then like read that, right? Like actually read it, like, or if you're a big sports fan, like why is sports so important to you? And then you like read it, and you're like, do I really believe this? At least you'll either be justified and be like, yeah, this is exactly what I believe, or you're gonna be like, you know what? Maybe it's time to change. Maybe it's time to update. Maybe it's time to allow myself permission to change my beliefs. It's the most powerful thing. And yet, I don't think most of you listening have even come to this realization until probably right now that you can actually do that. You have permission to do that. You can change your beliefs, any belief. Your beliefs don't have to be someone else's. And the worst type of beliefs are the ones that are passed down through your lineage, right? Through your family. It's like, that's great that you have like an ancestral bloodline there, but y'all don't got to have the same beliefs. That's that's not going to be healthy, right? That's one size fits all. Everyone have the same beliefs. That's probably not the winning recipe for this game called life, especially for you to accomplish if right, conditional, if you have a desire to see how far you can go, to see if you can, what is the best version of yourself? Is the best version of yourself carrying around the beliefs from your childhood that were programmed into you? I don't know. Maybe. I know I've had to literally let go of all my beliefs. Like I literally let go of everything, all beliefs, all possessions, everything, everything. And the beautiful thing is that the things that are like true to you, they come back. The things that are true to you rise up to the surface, and the things that really are no longer serving you, they disappear. They fall by the wayside. And there may be some people that in your life aren't going to appreciate you for that. They're going to be like, hey, I didn't give you permission to change your beliefs. Be like, well, I didn't ask your permission. Ooh, there's a new belief. You don't need permission. Oh, fuck. Black sheep time. Excommunication. Wait, you didn't ask for permission to change your beliefs? Your beliefs. You didn't ask for permission. Powerful shit right there. Butterfly effect, though. I guarantee you change your belief, especially about resources, right? This is an infinite universe. There's no scarcity. For you to win, no one has to lose, right? That's not how it works. If you elevate your mindset, to a winning mindset, to a positive mindset, to somebody that isn't trying to manipulate others for your own personal gain, but you actually bring value to the world, positivity, like you have something of worth that can help other people's lives become better, ain't nothing gonna stop that. She agrees. The puppy's like, this motherfucker's on fire. He's just dropping truth bombs tonight. It must be this new necklace, man. Y'all heard about this necklace, right? This is interesting. That almost looks glow in the dark, don't it? It's jade though. I made the necklace for it. Uh-oh. I'm feeling that. It must be this. I think it's the necklace. Did I tell you guys about this? This little thing right here, this pendant. I found the pendant. It found me, actually. I think I probably made it 7,000 years ago. This pendant right here is 7,000 years old. Man. 7,000-year-old pendant. Look, it looks just like this one. The guy that I bought it from is like a vendor. I go to this one place by here in Taos, New Mexico, the Taos Gorge Bridge. There's a bunch of vendors there, and I don't know. Things always find me there. I love to exchange, right? More of the generosity. I just love going with a wallet full of cash and just buying stuff from all the people there. And this pendant caught my attention the other day. It's beyond a nice pendant, Jim. This pendant here caught my attention. I asked the vendor, I'm like, man, what's up? What's the story on that pendant? He's like, I don't know, maybe South American. I said, really? Are you sure? South American? And so we worked a deal. But if you look, it looks just like that one. Like the whole face, the way that the eyes are cut. And I found out that what it's called is a pig dragon. It's a pig dragon pendant. This thing is from the Neolithic era, from the Hong San culture in China. Literally 6,700 years ago. 6,700 years old, man. And this thing found me in New Mexico, and I have two of them. I have a different one. This one's the pig dragon, and the other one looks like a bat. And so I made this beautiful chain today with it. But I paid what? I think I got the guy for both pendants. I gave him $75. Right. And I found this one online. I don't know. But I found this one online. Look how much they're asking for that one. Right. Again, butterfly effect, right? You go somewhere. I wasn't planning to go there. And I said, I'm going to pull in there. Let me go exchange with these guys because I just like to exchange with them. And I'm looking at this thing. It caught my attention. The energy it's so incredible. I've cleaned up. There was like grime on these. But this pendant is Neolithic, right? So this is Stone Age, right? Stone Age is 6,500 years ago. And yet to find the exact same pendant, it's the same dude. It's the same guy. I paid $75 for two of these. They're asking $38,000 for that one. So, you guys might not think I got bling on here, man, but this is definitely some drip. This is some Neolithic drip. It's just big time power, man. Woo! It's a necklace too, though. The necklace got jade, kunite, citrine, and copper. I could feel it, man. This thing is, I'm gonna put outside in the moon tonight. I put all my stones out in the moon, give them a little salt bath. Everything's gonna get charged with this full moon energy. So I appreciate everybody that's tuned in here tonight. I hope that this message gives you some real food for thought. And if you're somebody that's looking to take action on any of this stuff, again, there's really three options right now that I offer to try and to literally give you the direction and the guidance to not just hear about, oh, look at him, he's got all this, but it's not showing you how to do it, like literally step by step. So you got three options. right? You can join me in the Breath of Life Healing Circle. Go to resultskillexcuses.com, click on that link. You could click on, you can get yourself a 1% better everyday journal, 91 days locking in to really start doing some self-discovery work. And there's a whole training in there from self-sabotage to self-mastery with video course lessons by me, like not just like garbage class, man. I mean, I go really deep in the lessons, and there's probably about 6-7 hours worth of lessons there that are a compilation to just the daily journaling, teaching you how to really start reprogramming the negative thinking, sorting through life's problems, and even processing some of your emotional stuff, having more awareness. And then the third and final would be if any of you are interested in one-on-one coaching. I do have a few slots for 3 and 6 month coaching programs. You can reach out to me directly, Greg, Greg, at resultskillexcuses.com. Beyond that, I just hope that you will give yourself permission, right? Give yourself permission to review some of your beliefs and realize that you can change any belief. And most beliefs that we have right now, as I see 144, is a chosen number. That means I think most of you are probably chosen ones. You have a greater calling than whatever you're doing right now. There's a calling on your life to be a big part of this transformation globally that is taking place. Don't underestimate what you are here for. It's probably not what you're doing right now. There's probably something really great, but yet you got to start giving yourself permission to be what you're supposed to be, and to release what you've been, to let go of the past, step boldly into the now and start flying into the future, right? And what that takes is releasing limiting beliefs, reprogramming yourself, allowing yourself to redefine who you are. Don't be defined by your past. Let it refine you into the gold, into the purity, into the light, into the love, into the joy, into the peace that you truly are meant to embody each and every day. And so I'm here for you. I'm rooting for you big time, right? We're all in this together. I believe we're all walking each other home. So, just know that someone that's doing worse than you but may hit you up. Thank you so much, my inner child. I love the name. We all got a beautiful inner child inside of us that just needs your unconditional love, which is another part of the Breath of Life Healing Circle, is really connecting with that inner child through visualization. It's an important process. For some people, it's scary because the childhoods were rough, man. A lot of us had some really rough childhoods, myself included. Rough. Just know that you don't have to carry that shame with you for the rest of your life. There are people that do care, and I'm one of them. And there's others alongside me that care, that can hold space, no judgments, because a lot of us have been through the same stuff. Yeah, that's beautiful. Thanks for showing up tonight, my inner child. I appreciate you. I think I even saw you follow. So I look forward to hearing more from you. And again, go out there. Go do a random act of kindness. If you've never volunteered, go volunteer. Go to Big Brothers Big Sisters. Go to a homeless shelter. Go to a soup kitchen. Go to a battered women's shelter. There's so many opportunities right there in your own backyard to just give some of your time. It'll change you. I give you that challenge. Join me. That's a part of me. That's number 5 on the daily 5. Minding my mornings, eating my health, moving my body, learning something new every day, and making a difference. Making the difference is lending a hand, random acts of kindness, volunteer, generosity, kindness, right? And expecting nothing in return. But yet, the butterfly effect for me was offering a friend of mine a hand. It started with 100, and it's probably become about $500,000 in a beautiful, a dream property, man. Like, fuck. So you never know. But if you wake up every day believing that, I'll leave you with this. If you're listening to this, I challenge you to do this for the rest of March or May. Do this for the rest of May. Before you go to bed, tell yourself this. Mentally tell yourself this. Wonderful things are going to happen to me tomorrow. Before you go to bed, tell yourself that. Wonderful things will happen to me tomorrow. Say it 3 times. Wonderful things will happen to me tomorrow. Wonderful things will happen to me tomorrow. And when you wake up first thing, guess what you say? Wonderful things will happen to me today. Wonderful things will happen to me today. Wonderful things will happen to me today. That's my challenge to you for the rest of May. See what happens when you start to really intentionally, regardless of what's going on. And regardless if you're like, nothing wonderful happened. It doesn't work. It's like, it takes some time to reprogram. Just because you say that 3 times in the night and in the morning, right? It's going to take you starting to believe. You have to believe it. It has to come with some belief. And that's the head and the heart cohesion, right? Getting into your heart, believing that you're worthy to have good things happen, that you don't have to do anything different. Just change your mindset. You don't have to change anything else other than your mindset from negative to the positive. And that is a journey. That's quite a mission. But again, I'm here to help guide you. You can go and try and figure it out. I wish you all the best. Or you can follow the path, right? Thank you, my inner child. You can follow the path. I've carved a path. It's lit up. It's safe. There is some highs and lows on the path, but it's a clear path. And the highs and lows are just there to strengthen you so that it's not just so easy street. But you can choose to follow a path or go carve your own. Those of you that need to go carve your own, I wish you the best. If you get tired and you give up, you're always welcome to come and join on the path here at Results Kill Excuses, because you know the drill. Results kill excuses, because if it was easy, it wouldn't be worth it.